Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of lymphatic system histology. Today we are going to discuss about the histology of spleen and the palatine tonsil. Spleen is the largest lymphatic organ which filters the blood. It reacts immunologically to blood-borne antigens. It has a capsule which sends septas called trabeculae. Inside these capsule and trabeculae, the blood vessels enter the gland. These capsule and trabeculae contain myofibroblast, which helps in discharge of stored RBCs into the systemic circulation. The splenic artery and vein enter the glands through these trabeculae. The spleen is divided into two functionally and morphologically different regions, the white pulp and the red pulp, based on the color of fresh sections. White pulp consists mostly of lymphocytes. These lymphocytes surrounds the artery, splenic artery. The splenic artery enters from the capsule to the trabeculae, and from the trabeculae they enter the white pulp. So this artery is surrounded by the lymphatic sheath. It's a tubular structure actually, but when it is when the sections are taken, it looks like as a lymphatic nodules. Usually artery is in the center surrounded by a lymphocytes called periarterial lymphatic sheath. That's a pulse. Periarterial lymphatic sheath. It usually contains T lymphocytes. When these lymphocytes are stimulated, there is a formation of germinal center, means the lymphoblast will appear, leading to the formation of multiple lymphocytes, maturation of lymphocytes. That time we can see the germinal center which displaces the central artery to the periphery. So wherever there is a germinal center, we'll see the artery towards the periphery. Here where the germinal center is there, we have B lymphocytes. Rest of the places we have T lymphocytes. These enlarged nodules containing the germinal center are called splenic nodules or the Malpighian corpuscles. The pulse or the periarterial lymphatic sheath is a tubular structure. In some of the places, the enlarged lymph nodes, lymphatic nodules are seen. So those nodular area contain B lymphocytes, whereas the rest of the periarterial lymphatic sheath contains T lymphocytes. The another component is the red pulp. The red appearance is mainly because it contains large number of RBCs. It consists of splenic sinuses. Sinuses are the dilated spaces separated by splenic cords. The cords are called cords of Billroth. The splenic cords consist of a meshwork of reticular fibers and cells with large number of RBCs, macrophages and the lymphocytes. The endothelial cells of splenic sinuses are very long. The long axis is parallel to the direction of the vessels. They have a prominent intercellular space. The basal lamina is also irregular. You can see in the figure there in the side. These endothelial cells are called the stave cells. You have to know about the splenic circulation, both the open and the closed circulation in case of a spleen. In humans, we have open circulation. So after the central artery, we have the peninsular arteries. The peninsular arteries will open into the blood spaces, the sinuses, which are discontinuous. So later the blood seeps through the splenic cords, then enter the sinuses. So that that is a space where the blood is filtered. So from these sinuses, it can drain into trabecular venules, then trabecular veins, and into the splenic vein. So basically, circulation of the spleen in the spleen is very, very important. You should know both about open circulation and the closed circulation. So write more of pink dots which represent the RBCs in the red pulp. So red pulp, the proportion is more compared to the white pulp. So you should keep that in mind while writing it. The lymphatic nodules, the white pulp is scattered throughout the splenic parenchyma. Now, coming to the palatine tonsil. Tonsil belongs to a group of system called mucosa associated lymphatic tissue. So some of the lymphatic tissues which doesn't enclosed by a capsule, but they're scattered throughout the openings, the tubular system, the respiratory system, GIT, urinary system and all. Basically they help in protection against the foreign particles which are entering through these tubes. So they're just below the epithelium of the tissues. That's why they're called mucosa associated lymphatic tissue. Around the oral cavity we have lot of lymphatic aggregations. They are called Voltaire's ring. But histologically we are going to deal about the palatine tonsil, which are situated bilaterally on either side in the oral cavity, in between the palatopharyngeal fold and palatoglossal fold. So palatine tonsil, which faces towards the oral cavity, is lined by a mucosa, that is the epithelium first, which is stratified, squamous, non-keratinized epithelium. I think epithelium, you can see the previous video how to write the epithelium. We have a basal layer which is cuboidal or low columnar. Then you have polygonal layers. Then the topmost layer is squamous, which has nucleus. Non-keratinized means they have a topmost layer also have nucleus. Here in the tonsil, the epithelium is folded inwards to form numerous crypts. So you have to show one crypt at least in the diagram. So the lower basal layer has a oval nucleus, then round nucleus, and the topmost layer has a flat nucleus. So first you can make an outline so that when you draw the epithelium it should end there. Make an outline in the pencil, then you draw the diagram. Then it will give a proper shape for the crypts and all. Below the epithelium, that is the connective tissue, is called lamina propria. In this lamina propria, we have plenty of aggregated lymphatic nodules. These lymphatic nodules can be a primary nodule which contains a aggregation of small lymphocytes which are not exposed to any foreign antigens, or can be a secondary lymphocytes. Here the lymphocytes are exposed to antigen and stimulate the lymphocytes for proliferation. So we have a germinal center. So the lymphatic aggregate without any germinal center is the primary nodule. The lymphatic aggregate with germinal center is the secondary nodules. So which contains a proliferating lymphoblast in the center. Right, small aggregate of lymphocytes just below the epithelium. Few scattered lymphocytes are also present in the lamina propria. This epithelium is a key feature for you for identification of a tonsil. So among the lymphatic tissue, the four lymphatic tissue, only tonsil has the epithelium. Below the lamina propria, we have some mucus glands which secretes the mucus secretions into the lumen. So write some mucus glands, aggregated mucus glands there. So that palatine tonsil on the surface facing towards the other side, lateral side, is covered by a capsule, the fibrous tissue. That's why it's called hemicapsule, because it's covered only on one side. So other side you have epithelium. Outside the capsule we have a skeletal muscle, that is the constrictor of the pharynx. So you have to write a section, cross section of the longitudinal section of the skeletal muscle. So I think all of you know about the skeletal muscle cross section. You can refer to the muscle video for that. So this represents the tonsil. If you like the video, press like button, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.